Hi, it's Amy and Tim from Go With Less. Several weeks ago, we did a series of video from our Belize vacation that we took with our daughter. And I promised that we would outlay the nuts and bolts of where we spent on that and where we saved. And today's video might be a while, but here it is. And thank you for staying tuned and for asking for that. One quick thing though, we are going to talk about where we saved like some big money doing this. So stay tuned because we're going to put a graphic up that shows all the numbers. Take it away.
Amy actually stole my thunder. I was going to say we're about to throw this up on the screen. So on the screen now you'll see the breakdown of our trip cost, the total cost. And so airfare is the first thing we're going to cover. And so we spent $249.48 on our airfare. We
flew 3 people.
For 3 people. And so we flew down on Southwest Airlines. And so the $249.48 is taxes only. How does that math come together? We have a companion pass, which allows us to do buy one, get one free, whether we fly with cash or whether we fly with points. It's BOGO. And so there are 3 of us.
If you're interested in knowing what a companion pass is, we're happy to talk about that, but we don't want to talk about it in this video right now and take up time. If you want it, ask a question and we will talk about it in the comments.
That's right. And so from a points perspective, we're not going to talk about the points that we actually spent. However, it's important to know that we only had to do 2 people's worth of points because I paid with points, Amy flew free, and then we had to pay for points with for my daughter. And so also we used Ultimate Rewards points that we get from a Chase credit card or multiple Chase credit cards that we have that we transferred over to Southwest. And so that's one of our favorite ways to use Ultimate Reward points is to transfer them to partners that they have. And not all the cards that offer these points provide this. However, the Chase Sapphire Reserve card as well as the Freedom card, what do I have?
I have 5 Chase cards myself, so we're big on Chase.
And so the Ink card, I believe, is the card I used because, again, they don't all transfer over the number of points required to cover this trip. So this was actually paid for with Southwest points, ultimately, which started as Ultimate Reward points.
Yeah, and I'm going to move into accommodations. I'm looking at the numbers to the left, so apologies for that. $450.95 was for 6 nights of accommodations. This included 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, a full-size kitchen for the 3 of us. Now that I take a look because it was such a good value. So we were in an Airbnb, we had our own floor of a house, our own entrance, it was completely private, and we were able to, we're going to talk about groceries coming up obviously, but we were able to cook a whole bunch of our breakfasts in the house, which saved us some money. But I looked at what a comparable hotel would have cost, and by the way, our daughter sleeps like, she's a teenager, she's the opposite of a vampire. She sleeps from like 10 p.m. until like at least 10 a.m. So she's a 10-hour sleeper. Well, imagine if we were in a hotel room sharing with our daughter and we're having like 7 hours, 8 of sleep, I guess, hours of sleep. We're not in bed for 12 hours. So we would have had to maybe share a room, and not have, like if we were in a hotel room, we would have paid probably for 2 rooms so that she could sleep and we could be up. That would have been like significantly more expensive. Each room that I saw was about $300 a night, a room. So if that Airbnb paid for itself like in one day, it was a good deal.
So our ground transportation, when we got to the island, we spent $144.50 on ground transportation. Includes water transportation because we actually took a water taxi from the mainland to Ambergris Caye, the island that we were actually staying on. We also took a ferry from Ambergris Caye to an adjacent island called Caye Caulker. And so
the round trip taxi.
Additionally, we took taxis from the airport to the water taxi. We also had 1 day of a golf cart rental where we rented a golf cart as well as gas for the golf cart. And then we had a taxi on the island as well. So when we got there, we had a taxi that took us from the boat place to our Airbnb. And so the $144.50 isn't representative of all the costs. We actually wiped away some of the costs. I think all of the water ferries as well as the parking back in Denver, which is also included in this transportation cost, that was all wiped away using the Capital One Venture card. And so that's a card that earns 2% back. And so through our spending throughout the year, we had generated enough points to pay for all these ferries as well as the parking back here in Denver.
Yeah, and the taxis would have been over $100 for the 3 of us to go to 2 different islands. So one taxi was 90 minutes and the other one was like 50 minutes. So the little quickie day trip. So yeah, so that was that wasn't like a 5-minute water taxi. taxi. That was a significant distance, and it was covered by our Capital One Venture card. I'm going to take on food and groceries next. So we found the local, we talked about this in one of our videos. We found local places. So we asked the locals where we should eat. We used Yelp. Actually, it wasn't Yelp. It was TripAdvisor. We found Yelp does not exist in this area yet. Maybe it never will, but it didn't exist, and that's our first go-to. We used TripAdvisor just to get an idea of very affordable food. So we
also used friends. So some friends had recommended restaurants to us. And
several.
So so Amy does a great job at this. So something that before we go anywhere, Amy's looking at the places where we're going to eat and where we're going to find affordable places to eat and where it's going to be good. And so seldom do we show up at a place and just eat a meal and it's like, oh, that was a waste of money, or that was an awful meal.
Yeah.
So this is a lot of pre-planning that Amy does to make sure that we're finding affordable things to do. And not only are they affordable, but they're going to be pretty darn good. So we do a great job of finding.
And here's the challenge with this, though, is that when we leave America, I find that websites, like, we don't know the prices of places. So first of all, a website might be a Facebook page that has like a post a couple times a year, and that's the whole website for a business. So information, we kind of take lots of information for granted here. If we have a menu with prices on nearly every single menu in America, you don't have that outside of America. So that's a little bit tricky, but we are finding these really good spots abroad and on our travels that are delicious, local, affordable food, and we're not looking. And what we did say, what Tim said, is on this trip we ate more fried food than we've had in a year in 6 days.
It was good.
Yeah,
but it was fried and not necessarily.
But we went out for coconut ice cream every single day. We had that probably we were there for 5 nights. We probably had coconut ice cream 4 nights. So we were not eating healthy. We found that fruits and vegetables were not. So because we weren't going to like the more touristy restaurants, we had a lot of seafood, but it might have been fried. Like this, the locals are not a healthy eating group.
We for breakfast, I think all mornings except for one, we bought some eggs and some jelly and bread at the local grocery store, and we had that for breakfast every morning.
Stick of butter.
Yep. So we took advantage of the grocery store. So that's a trick we also try and use, is meals that are going to be easy for us to eat in.
That's just breakfast.
That was just breakfast.
Yeah, so what we've learned on Airbnbs is it might be a nice idea that we have a kitchen to save money on our food, but we're out and about. We want to experience the local foods as well. So breakfast, though, we went out twice. We went out twice for breakfast. I think we cooked 3 breakfasts in the house. Went out twice, and so we ate a couple meals at home, and that, like I said, that did save us quite a bit of money. And that also includes our groceries.
And how much do we spend on food?
$349.29. That's for 3 people for 6 days. We went out almost every lunch and dinner.
Yeah, and something we found is that unfortunately most of the credit card things that we have, hacks that we have, food is one of the things that's a little harder to hack. So in terms of earning points, you can use credit cards that will give you 3 times the points or 5 times the points at a restaurant. However, when it comes to spending points, there's nothing that's out there that really lets you just wipe away the points. There is a card.
So we go affordable.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, we're gonna try to hustle it up. So we're gonna talk about the activity. We have one activity in here, $350. It was our daughter's birthday gift. We would have done it anyway. It was an entire day snorkel trip, and we did 4 different jump in the water snorkel experiences. It was the most extraordinary day of snorkeling we've ever had, and I've snorkeled in a lot of Caribbean islands, Hawaii, Mexico. So this was the best day we've had. We saw huge 6 to 8 foot nurse sharks. Our daughter held one underwater, which was insane. The most colorful
fish. They fed us on the boat.
Yeah, they fed us. Tim had unlimited alcohol, and was
not
nuts.
Unlimited. It was unlimited. However, I didn't take advantage of unlimited.
He drank a lot, and so so we saw stingray. We saw tons of colorful fish. We saw huge
multiple turtles that were giant.
Huge, lots of coral,
lots of rays, stingrays.
So we're going to talk about for just a minute here about what we're going to make. I see this is getting long. We're going to talk about what makes a worth it splurge for us in another video. So we have a lot of videos to queue up here in terms of that. But that was $350, and that makes
just one other thing quickly. So we actually did a little shopping around with this as well. So I don't know that we got the greatest value that you could possibly find on this. However, I think if you just show up and you're going to pay for one of these tours, it might make some sense to do a little shopping around. So strangely, we bought ours at a restaurant in town that
With
somebody
the local,
with
yeah.
the local, and so
Obviously.
I think we saved a little money.
So know what it costs. So here's what.
Yep.
So everyone who comes here is taking like a day-long snorkel trip. Like that's a normal thing. This is where the second largest barrier reef after Australia. People coming are going snorkeling.
Yep.
So people take a day-long trip, understand how much that costs. So that when we went out to this like kind of local place that we called like a little palapa with like a thatched roof, open, no walls kind of a place. When the guy came at the end who worked there with his computer and talked with us about tourist things, which was a little weird, but we completely welcomed it because he actually did offer quite a value. We understood what a good deal on a snorkel day would be, and we knew that he was offering that. So we had a great experience, and like I said,
And we had the same experience as everybody else on the same boat. However, I guarantee
every other boat. So there were
That's
like a bazillion boats.
not a
and
bazillion, but
there were a lot.
everybody paid different prices
Yeah.
on this boat
It's like
for
an
the
airplane.
same experience, and it was
Yeah.
an amazing experience.
Okay, so for the three of us, we spent out of pocket $1,544.13. It was our daughter's Christmas gift. So, and as it was our Christmas gift, and the snorkeling was her birthday gift. So, so we're not normally giving $1,500 gifts for that, but she went to a new country. I mentioned also that Tim mentioned that Southwest flew there. We flew directly nonstop to Belize one way, and so finding a place that was more affordable when we got there was part of our strategy all along. So we didn't just so happen to spend $1,500 basically there. It was because we found a cheaper place to go that it was cheaper. So that was no accident. So that was by design. So we will talk about this on an ongoing basis on our videos because it's a big part of what we're doing is we're trying to get to cheaper places and because our money goes further.
And we love to share this with people. So it's like the more that we can sort of teach and share ways that you can actually save some money, the more excited we are. So
Yeah.
if you watch this stuff and you like what you see, please let us know.
With
So
a thumbs
hopefully we
up,
can
with a
save some money.
comment, subscribe to our video channel,
Yep.
and we appreciate you watching. Thanks
you
so
very
much.
much.
Sorry it's so long.